This conference will now be recorded.
Well, thank you all for joining me and welcome to our meeting. As we were talking about just a second ago, before I started recording, today we have a nice mix of people that have been here before and new faces. So welcome to the people that have been here before. Welcome to the new faces. And basically, the format is very simple. First, I'm going to mute everybody and then unmute one person at a time to allow them to do an introduction to the group. They can say their name, maybe geographically where they're from, because we always have a little bit of a geographic spread, which is nice. What their product or service is, and what would be a good referral for them. And after we get through the round of introductions, then I'll unmute everybody. And hopefully the introductions triggered some questions in your mind. So anybody can ask any question of anybody else. And then after that, if there's still a little bit of time, we'll just open it up for a general discussion. We can talk about pretty much any topic that is business related. If you want to talk about the coronavirus, how it's affecting your business or your community or, anything else, again, pretty much anything that is business related is fair game. And then after that, I'll distribute the recording to all of you so that you can, if you like, publish it on your social media, send it to clients, whatever you like to do. All right, so is everybody ready?
Yep.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll go in exactly the same order that I have people here. And Alejandra, since you're always with me, start. But the good news is you've done this a ton of times before, so you know exactly the drill.
I know the drill. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Sals for actually putting this meeting together. They tried to overbook me at 2 o'clock today, and I said, absolutely not. I'm not missing this wonderful meeting with Sal. I'm just so grateful for everything that he always does to put all of us together. I'm happy to see some familiar faces as well. So I actually, I'm my own business owner. I own a business with a company. It's called ACN. ACN is my business partner. And through ACN, I have a very unique opportunity to market services that both residential and commercials do not know how to live without, from the electricity to the gas, to the telephone, to the internet. So all those things that we don't know how to live without. So true essential services. And I have a way to not only generate for myself residual income when people pay those services, but to me, most important, I have a way to help everyday people generate a second stream of income with us, a residual income that they can actually, get paid for life of customers. And what a good referral looks like to me is, one, anybody that is looking for more time in their life, anybody that is looking for more income in their life, any business owners that today maybe are not generating the same income they were pre-COVID, that are hurting right now, and they would not mind to have a second stream of income. And then another great referral is, to me, the people that have natural access to bills, real estate agents, real estate brokers, real estate investors, people with multiple retail stores, people that are in front of customers all the time, because a real estate agent, a broker, an investor, every time somebody rents a home or buys a home, have to set up services. And so we do concierge service with them, one-stop shop. So just basically anybody in the real estate world or any business owners that are looking for a second stream of income. My passion is to positively affect people's life, and my own personal goal is to positively affect at least one person every single day.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. And we will continue with the A's. And Alex, do you want to introduce yourself to the group and maybe mention?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Alex Gallimore. I am in Orlando, Florida. It is hot down here right now, and COVID is alive and well, but that's okay. So the business that I have is I'm in the financial services business. So I represent New York Life, and what I do is basically You know how people talk about how they wish they had learned how to manage their finances at an earlier age? When I mean earlier, if you're pre-retirement, that could be in your 40s. If you're in your 40s, that could be in your 20s. So I basically help with that. So I make sure that people are taken care of financially, especially though those who are young, because we have compounding returns. And so doing the right things when you're young pay huge later in life. So that's what I help people with. And New York Life offers, and I'm an agent with New York Life, so I offer their product line, and which involves like life insurance, long-term care, annuities, and other investment options, and just helping people to build their wealth and advise them. So perfect referrals for me or anybody going through life transition. So people buying a house, people having kids, people right before they retire. But in particular, because I'm young, I like to work with young people just getting started out in life. So yeah, I'd appreciate it if you guys would help me out.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And let me see who's next here on my list. And Yona, by the way, even though you're not on screen, I've got you on my list, so don't worry. We'll get to you here in alphabetical order. But next is Hunter. If you want to unmute yourself from your side, and same thing, introduce yourself and mention what a good referral looks like.
Hey everyone, it's my first time here. Thanks, Sal, for organizing this. Yeah, so I am a sales business development representative with M Masters Corporation. What we do is sales consulting, any business development consulting, and we particularly work with leaders of sales. So the two main products we're offering right now are first our masterclass coming up this fall. It's 9 weeks entirely online. It's specifically for sales leaders or anyone who is in charge of a sales team or just in charge of growing revenue for their company. So that includes small business owners. We've worked with startups all the way to Fortune 500 companies. So we really have a broad span of people that we're able to work with and able to help. The second thing that we're offering is actually a product. It's a service called Confirmed Application. It helps salespeople and sales leaders better schedule meetings more effectively to increase their meeting retention rate. My perfect referral is basically anyone who's in charge of sales, which is a pretty broad term, but VPs of sales, directors of sales when it comes to larger companies. When it comes to smaller companies, CEOs, presidents of the company, anyone like that. Yeah, so I really appreciate you guys coming. I'd love to talk with any of you guys individually too. Thanks for having me, Sal.
All right, perfect. Thank you for joining us. And Jack, if you could please introduce yourself, and same thing, who would be a good referral for you?
Okay, good. Thank you, Sal. I appreciate, again, you're inviting me to this. I'm a newbie as well, and my first time here. A lot of you are from the Pittsburgh area, I understand. I live in Fort Lauderdale, and it's also pretty hot down here, too. And but I grew up in Pittsburgh, Upper St. Clair Township. Went to Upper St. Clair High School, and when I got out of school, my folks moved here to South Florida. I went away to college in New England and got drafted by the Baltimore Colts in 1970 and had the rare opportunity to be the first person out of my college to play in the NFL. And 6 months after graduation, ended up in Super Bowl V with the Colts and actually got a Super Bowl ring my rookie year. Again, this is Super Bowl V. A lot of you, just I can tell by looking at you, probably weren't born back then, but it was fun. Money was a little different. We made $15,000 a man for winning the Super Bowl. The Chiefs made $118,000 a man for winning the most recent Super Bowl. So anyway, after a brief career in the NFL, I went on to play a couple of years with the New England Patriots and went to work for an ad agency in South Florida. And it took me about 9 months to realize that, in fact, I said to my wife one day, I'd rather be captain of my own rowboat than a first mate on somebody else's yacht. So on a wing and a prayer, borrowed money and a second hawk on our house, I opened up my own ad agency, which I ran for the better part of 25 years here in South Florida. Along the way, I got introduced to the network marketing industry and spent 16 years with 2 different companies, did very well, but wasn't able to accomplish what I was hoping to accomplish, which was an exit strategy from advertising and start on a retirement strategy. 17 years ago, however, I was introduced to another company. I don't know whether you've ever heard of Melaleuca. They're a science-based U.S. manufacturing company that has they're actually known as the Wellness Company now, and they've evolved into the largest private online wellness shopping club now in North America. And the pandemic has really exploded the business for a couple of reasons. The product line, which has been very beneficial to a lot of people that are concerned about the virus, which is all of us, and a lot of people too that are now looking for a good plan B. Alejandro, I know we're kind of similar, I guess, in as far as our industries, and your company is one that stood the test of time as well. And so it's been everything I thought, hoped, and prayed it was going to be 17 years ago. It did get me out of the advertising business, and I'm basically looking for people that are proactive towards health and wellness, and people that are open to maybe developing a plan B, a supplemental income. And this works very well around a busy lifestyle, as it did for me. So again, nice to be with you all and meet you all. And Sal, again, thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jack. Oh, and by the way, if you put your contact information in the chat, whatever you want to put, whether it's your email, your phone, website, LinkedIn profile, whatever, I will take the chat and email it back out to everybody when I email a copy of the video. So if you want people to easily be able to contact you, put in the chat whatever information you would like them to have.
Okay, where might that chat be here?
Actually it should say chat. If you have like a little control box, there's a gray area that says
I'll
chat.
find it. Gotta want to waste time, but I'll find it.
Jennifer, if you want to introduce yourself.
Okay, I'll introduce myself. I'm in West Virginia near Pittsburgh, PA. I own my own company. I do a little bit of marketing, business development, and I consult to nonprofits. I've owned my own businesses since 2008, successfully sold my second one, and currently I'm working with an entertainment production company, and I'm ghostwriting, and I'm writing business proposals. So I'm open to doing anything that I feel I can accomplish successfully. And I do also do research and development for certain companies as needed.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And Joe, I know you're a veteran of this. If you could introduce yourself and same thing, say where you are, maybe a good referral for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sal. It's funny, we have a couple people on here talking about Florida because South Florida was the last place I traveled before the coronavirus hit. Early March, actually, I was there, and then turned out to be good timing because a week after that is when everything started shutting down. So, yeah, just thought I'd throw there as a side note. But my name is Joe Gardonis. I am a self-employed graphic communicator, basically visual designer, which I specialize in graphic design of all sorts, whether it be logos, print advertising, rebranding, website design as well, and social media consultation. So a good referral for me would be anybody who's looking to basically rebrand and revamp their visual impression, which has anything to do with their their websites, and if they want to do a rebrand like with logos, just because right now I'm offering limited time discounts on those services due to the COVID-19 impact, and anybody who has a small business, small organization, and even a medium-sized company, those are good referrals for me.
All right, perfect. Let's see, who do we have here? Lee, and I apologize. I'm not even going to try to say your last name. Everybody can see it there on the screen. If you could introduce yourself. Oh, we can't hear you. Got to turn on your mic from your side.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Oh, okay. And these Bluetooth headphones have not been playing nice. Anyway, yeah, my last name is Skolazinski. It's a little bit of Polish heritage. I don't have my own business, and so I'm currently trying to start a career as a project manager in the aerospace industry. So I'm actually trying to connect with people on the West Coast, more specifically Seattle. Lately I've been trying to do some informational interviews into aerospace companies kind of more on like the business side. And so if you know of anybody in like, Blue Origin, SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, but also Lockheed Martin, Boeing, just anybody who could kind of give me some insights into how these companies are operating now with COVID, because I know a lot of them have been letting people go en masse and doing the kind of volunteer retirement type thing. So yeah, I put my information in the chat there. It looks like the Teams interpreted it as a hyperlink, so it kind of looks like a little messed up. If you get rid of the brackets and stuff, you'll see my LinkedIn and email. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Let's see as we continue down the list here. Oh, we have Magic Susie. I love your handle. If you could please introduce yourself.
Okay, my real name is Susie, and then my business name is Magic Susie. I specialize in kids entertainment. I've been doing this for 15 years. I started in Los Angeles and now recently in Florida for the past 8 years. So I'm also in Florida, in Tampa area. So basically nowadays with the pandemic, I have been doing live shows all over Tampa Bay area, and with the pandemic, I have gone virtual. And I have been getting booked up and recognized very fast. I'm very grateful on that. Anybody who's with children and are celebrating a birthday party, whether you're in summer camp or schools, get-togethers, any kinds of events that now you're choosing to do virtually, I am definitely one of the top magicians that offering virtual magic shows nationwide. So I am on a daily basis, I'm going back and forth between live shows and virtual live shows, and virtual live shows are in Tampa Bay area. And then virtual shows are nationwide, which even right now in 2 hours, I'm going to be doing a magic show in New Jersey. So I'm super excited.
Okay, excellent. And I have a comment for you, but I'll hold the discipline and I'll wait till we open it up for everybody to, or not a comment, a question. And Yona, even though we can't see you, I think we can all hear you. So introduce yourself, mention who would be a good referral, mention where you are.
Can I be heard?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Sal. Thank you again for this. I missed the last couple ones. Different things have come up. So I am based out of New York, Brooklyn specifically, married almost 17 years, 4 kids, and I have an extreme diverse background experience in terms of work. I am in the same field as Alex. However, my mind shifted when COVID-19 began, specifically because I tested positive. And what I've seen from a lot of friends, just a lot of people around, that they lost their income. Everyone was filing for unemployment. So it really made me think about income and how can I help people protect their income. And while life insurance is an extreme important part of it, the one part that I don't hear a lot of people talk about is disability insurance. So I have started focusing my practice a little bit more on that. I still offer life insurance, of course, but my primary focus is on disability and employee benefits. That are voluntarily, that don't cost the employer any money, that an employee can take with him or her if they leave their job. I work for Mass Mutual. However, I am not beholden to Mass Mutual. My contract allows me to offer any other company, and a good referral for me would be anyone who is willing to have a conversation, anyone who's willing to give me their time. I have no expectations, just the time. If you give me your time, I'll give you my time, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Let's see. Okay, everybody is unmuted from my side. Like I said, I actually have a question for Magic Susie, but I'll let anybody else go first.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for anybody else? Everything is clear as mud.
I don't have a question, but I tell you that how I met Susie and my experience. So to serve you know, as a, if you may, a testimony, which I think are valuable when it comes to trying to refer another person. So I actually was very upset because I'm a big party person. So I have two kids, and every single time one of my kids turns of age, I just throw the house out of the window. And so for the first time, I could not have a birthday party. And so I was massively upset. And so I started looking online and I could not find any entertainment. So see, half of my family is in another country. So if I was going to do something virtual, I actually had 6 countries represented on his Zoom. So if I was going to do something virtual, it had to be something that people could watch, but you know, not get lost on translation, if you may. So any single magic show that I was finding online, it was tremendously not boring but dull. And then I found Susie, and it was colorful and fun and something that you did not really needed the language to truly enjoy. And it was a true hit. I don't even know how many people it had because I was not even looking, but it was really up there. And then everybody came back saying it was one of the best Zoom parties because I guess, you know, even after she left, it gets very awkward. Everybody gets silent. You know, in a party, everybody talks, but in a Zoom, everybody just gets silent. So it gets a little awkward. But she brought the life back to that Zoom, and it was a lot of fun because even the kids were interacting from everywhere, and you know, and trying to talk to her, and it was just almost as if we had a lot of kids together, but they were not there. And so I just want to take this moment to thank her for doing that for our party and make it that much more memorable. Not to mention that then I got a lot of pictures of her, from her taking pictures of the computer of my family and ourselves and cutting the cake and whatnot. And so that was kind of an extra gift that I wasn't expecting. So she was phenomenal. So if you have anybody that has little ones, highly recommend it. It just was a complete different party.
Oh my God, Alexandra, thank you so much. I really appreciate your amazing.
Thank you.
And I had a great time as well. Everybody was upbeat, having a good time, socializing, because I love the interaction. I don't want any quiet shows. For me, it's like every time I do a show, I want to give a rock star concert style party. So I definitely had a great time every single time. So I'm very grateful in this crazy time. I was able to jump from live shows to virtual magic shows. So I'm very, very grateful. And I'm having a tremendous opportunity as well to meet amazing people nationwide. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful to meet you. And therefore, you also introduced me to this networking meeting. So this is awesome.
What is your
what I was going to offer, and actually what Alejandro said reminded me of a second thing. So the first thing is, I don't know if you put together like what maybe the sports people call like a sizzle reel or something, like a video clip kind of, so people can get an idea of your services and get excited, whatever. But long story short, if you have any type of video clip that you want to send me, I'll include it as part of the email that I send out to everybody on this phone call or video chat, so that they can see that video clip. And the other thing that I was going to say, and this goes for everybody, but especially now with that beautiful call testimonial that Alejandra did. When I send out the YouTube link, be aware that if you go into YouTube and you hit share, you have the option of starting the video at a different point from the very beginning. So if you want to start it at the point where you introduce yourself, or maybe you want to start it at the point where Alejandra talks about you, or whatever the case may be aware that that's a nice little feature, because then you can send that link out to people and it'll start right at, for example, the point where you introduce yourself, and they won't have to listen to everybody else if you want them to specifically listen to you introducing yourself. So anyway, all right. Anybody else have any questions or comments for anybody else?
Alex, how long have you been in the business?
Hey, I have been doing this for 2 months, so I've just started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm trying to obviously build my clients up and network and yeah, get going. How about you?
So total experience over 10. However,
Wow.
I started my financial service experience at New York Life in New York.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, great company. I won't say anything bad about it because there's nothing bad about the company. The only reason why I work for Mass Mutual is because I like the agency and the firm and the people. We're
Mm-hmm.
just like we're friends also, and that's important to me. But if I may just give you a piece of advice, if it's okay, is that okay?
Sure.
As a person who had no natural market, I don't know if they still do the Project 100, the Project 200, or whatever they do.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Try everything until you learn what works for you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way you are going to build a practice.
Yeah.
I remember my first year. It was okay, but would have been better with the natural market.
Yeah. So you started from scratch, really, for the most part.
I started from scratch. You know what the word chutzpah means?
Pardon?
Does anyone know what the word chutzpah means?
Oh, chutzpah.
I do.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, somebody, at least the way I think about it is that somebody that's very scrappy.
So I have no shame. I will go into any place. I will introduce myself. Worst thing that could happen is people laugh at me and I'll say I'm a comedian, or I'll start building networking connections. And the truth is, what I've learned over the years, the more times you do it, the better you get at it, and the
Mm-hmm.
more qualified people you get from it. So it's just,
He or she with
again,
the most knows wins, right?
sorry.
He or she with the most knows wins. In
Yeah.
other words, everything's a no to your ass. Sal, I don't know what happened to me. I'm here, but I don't know what happened.
We can hear you though.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see your image frozen, but we hear you,
Okay.
which is the important part.
Yeah, Susie, I'd like to get your website. I guess that'll be coming out from Sal. So I've got 7 grandkids.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, let me ask a question, and maybe this is a question for both Alejandra and Jack, and I don't know if I'm all wet here, but you can tell me. Because obviously, your business entails developing these organizations for multiple levels, multiple reporting relationships, multiple hierarchy, whatever. But let's say I'm a person that's already in your organization, and for some reason I'm not happy with my manager, my upline, whatever you want to call it, the people above me, because maybe I'm not getting the training, the support, the guidance that I want, whatever the case may be. Is it possible for me to switch and say, in the case of Alejandro or Jack, whatever, hey, listen, I'm kind of in line with so and so, but I want to be in line with you because I like the way you help your people. Can that switch be made?
It depends company to company. Every company has a completely different policy on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The answer is yes, but it depends on the company. She's right. The answer is yes, but I can also tell you this: if it's going to be, it's up to me. Is the philosophy and the kind of the mentality you want to live. I mean, it's good to have support. Obviously, I've had good support. I provide good support, but you know, it it's ultimately your decision. You have the right company, and you're focused and love the product and the services. It's again, if it's going to be, it's got to be your decision whether it happens or not. But yes, you can switch. In our case, it takes anywhere from 6 months, usually 6 months, to make a move.
In our company, you cannot. And the reason why you cannot is to So people don't do monkey business to each other. There is an ethical situation there. Now, I had somebody from the UK hit me up the other day and said, "Hey, I'm lost. Can I come work with you? I see you, I see all your trainings, I see what you and your husband do." And my answer to him is, look, you cannot be on my team unless you sit out for a year, which I don't recommend if you have some business going on your team right now. And my husband's been with ACN for 17 years. The last 13 years, he's been the #1 producer for it on his own merit. He didn't have an upline, a sideline, or any type of support. Support helped, of course, because supports to me meant time when I didn't have time, knowledge when I didn't have knowledge. Could you make it in network marketing without support? Proofs in the pudding. My husband didn't have any. The system that we follow, he created. Now, however, what I told this person in the UK is count with my support no matter what, because at the end of the day, I have a giver's mentality. See, I don't care if you're on my team or you're on somebody else's team. I'm going to go train my team no matter what. So what is it for me to let you and your team plug in? Does it hurt my team? It does not hurt my team. And if somebody truly is needing that guidance and doesn't have that guidance, I believe the more you give in life, the more you'll get from life. And it'll come in completely different shapes and forms. See, life has blessed me with a great company, with great owners, with a great compensation plan that allowed a person in corporate like me, 23 years of corporate, vice president of compliance at Amex, which is what I was doing, 15-hour job days long, be able to plug and play into a small little system. And if I cannot, and be home with my kids, so if I cannot pay forward my blessing, then I think the only thing that I'm not doing is serving my own faith and what I believe in. So yes, that is going to happen, Sal. And as a matter of fact, happens all the time. I believe good leaders will lead, whether that is your team or not. That's how I have solved that.
I'm going to mute everybody for a second because I'm getting a little bit of background noise on my side, and I'm going to unmute one person at a time so if we can figure out where the background noise is coming from here. So give me a second. Well, wherever it was coming from, it went away.
That's good.
I think you're all unmuted. So does anybody have any other questions, comments, or anything in business about General?
I actually have a question for Alejandra, and I believe Jennifer, I don't remember who does the same thing, maybe Jack. Have you guys heard of a company called LifeVantage?
I have not.
I have not either.
Okay.
Are they a new company? Are they a new company?
It's a biohacking company with a similar concept that you have presented.
Uh-huh.
And somebody reached out to me, and I'm looking into it, and so I just thought to ask if you want, you can connect with me privately, and I can tell you what I've learned about it and what I know about it.
Okay.
Yona, that was you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I will also, what was the name of it again?
LifeVantage. Their products are based around biohacking.
Interesting.
Which
I am going to ask my husband if he's heard of it, because he's always approached. So I will ask him to see if there's anything that he knows that we can give you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I will reach out. I got your phone number.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments for anybody?
Jack, I'm interested because you said you had 16 years of network marketing. Was that before Melaleuca, or you've been 16 years with Melaleuca?
No, it was before Melaleuca. It was 16 years, two different companies. I made emotional choices with both of them, and with this one, it was more of a business decision. We kind of analyzed it more as a business, and with residual income as our ultimate goal. But I've been with Melaleuca now for 17 years. So,
How long?
do you know the name Phil Moser by any chance with ACN?
Of course I do. Yes, I do.
Mention Jack Maitland to him. He and I were good. We were in Amway together for a long time. That
Yeah,
was
of course I do. He was an SVP in my husband's team.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen him in ages, but I knew he went with ACN.
You may know my husband then. Yeah.
Well, I maybe yeah.
Maybe. You probably had seen some of his trainings.
Oh, okay. Very good.
I'll reach out to you and we'll chat. That's interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
He did Ambit he was in Ambit when he came to us. That's
okay.
Small world. Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned it was Amway was what I was with. I think Phil was with Ambit too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was with Ambit real big. When he came work with us, he was with Ambit.
Okay.
That's
Very
interesting.
Good. Small world.
Very small world.
Hey, Susie, I have a question for you. How do you decide to become a magician? I mean, is it just something one day you said, hey, this is pretty cool and I'm going to learn that? Was it somebody in your family? I mean, just out of curiosity, how did it all come about? Oh, I think you have to unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Okay. So what it is like I was in Los Angeles. I have met my ex-husband back then when we were dating, and he was a performer as well. But not to mention the reason why we were able to connect, because I was already starting as an entertainer in the acting entertainment industry, and in Chicago I was doing Second City Comedy Act. So when I met my husband, my ex-husband, he says to me, he was doing magic shows and he was a voiceover actor at the same time. So he said to me, why don't you do in magic? So when I was watching the magic shows and attending the Magic Castle, I really, really loved it. And that was amazing to me. So I was very much mesmerized, just like a child myself. So when I was introduced to the magic and hanging out every single Saturday at the Magic Castle, hanging out with the best magicians, ever, that they travel all over the world, I was like just very mesmerized to learn the tricks and then be part of it, basically. So for me, anything that it was a mind manipulation for entertainment reasons, of course, I was just very much interested in it. Not only to mention it's with children, instead I kind of focused on a niche, which is I could have been entertainer for all the adults, but then my preferences was children, is to make innocent people happy, which is in that terms environment is children. Now a lot of people, they were like, oh my God, I can't believe it, how you put up with a lot of kids and it's much going on. It's very hard to kind of keep up with 20 children and groups of people at the same time. But I came across very natural and I enjoyed it even more to make children happy. And what made me also even grasp even faster than that is I had no competition, zero. So of course I want to grow in an environment where I have no competition. So anytime anybody, they want a magician, yes, there's lots of magicians out there. There's a lot of dark magicians. There's a lot of voodoo magicians. But is there any magicians who really entertains the young children, a fan of young children? And me as a mother of two children myself, through time it made it easier for me to entertain children. And I just want to be, I want my audiences to be children and families and parents, that I am more comfortable in the family environment than just compete with the male world of magicians, of like America's Got Talent entertainers, which I can do, but I'm already like busy already. So, and there's no better way of me being an entertainer for the little ones, definitely. And there's always going to be a little one. So I definitely enjoy it. I'm a goofball myself, and it's the happiest moment of my life when I'm having a great time with children, doing a magic show and being a rock star with them. And So I
Good
just
for you.
love creating a niche, basically, in the midst of that magic environment where there's different types of magicians that they cater to different audiences. My audience is little ones. So
That's great.
Very, very cool.
mhm,
All right.
yeah.
So Joe, Alex, and Hunter, you're on the middle of my screen. I don't know if you guys get the same screen as I do because I think it shifts around. But do you guys have any questions, comments for anybody? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, nothing right off the top of the bat. Jack, what part of New England were you in?
I lived in South. I went to Williams College, which is the up in the Berkshire Mountains, and then when I was with the Patriots in '71 and '72, I lived in South Weymouth.
Okay, I
I
know where
was
that
there
is.
there
I
when
live
they
in
first.
Acton. You know that?
Oh yeah, sure, sure
Yeah,
do. You live there now?
I do. Yeah, I go to school in Pittsburgh. I go to University of Pittsburgh, but during the summer I live up in Massachusetts. I'm still in college for 2 more years, so
Good for you. That's awesome. That's great.
thanks.
I have a question.
Okay.
Sorry. So Joe, you were mentioning that you help people with social media consultation. What does that look like? What is it that does? Like if I were to refer somebody, that somebody says, they want just to rebrand their presence in social media, like what does that look like?
Good question, first off. So basically what that looks like in terms of what I do for them is I basically do the pre-scheduled postings like for their Facebook, whether it's every week, every month, I do the pre-scheduled posting based off of, what they're looking to accomplish with what they want to do with their social media, which is typically ironed out in my interview process with them, where I typically ask a series of questions for them, like to get to know their business better and or their organization, and figure out what they're trying to do with that, like who's their target audience, what makes them special and different from like somebody who's similar to them or their competition. And then I include some boosted advertising in there as well, as long as the maintaining of the page, like change out the cover photo and the profile pictures as needed, for like a change of season special offer. So that's kind of the encompassing of the social media consultation. And that includes Facebook, Instagram, Google Business Listing, LinkedIn, Twitter. So.
Interesting.
I have a
Thank
question
you.
for Joe.
Sure.
Joe, do you is part of your services or what you do, because social media there are some negative reviews, do you work on removing those or putting them at the bottom of the list?
Well, negative reviews happen for an array of reasons. It could be just, I've had instances where I've seen people who, like, have just left a bad review in a business that they didn't even do work for. I mean, that's a little bit of a, libel thing going on, but sometimes sort of thing happens. But really, a lot of that depends on when that review was left and how that person is reviewing the reviews, like if it's by relevancy or chronological order. So that's a little bit something that's outside of my control. I mean, the only thing I can maybe do is like respond on the behalf of client as far as like, hey, we're really sorry you had this experience. Well, what can we do to make it up to you, sort of thing. So
Okay.
yeah.
It's just something I noticed every time I review a service or a site or a person, there's always 1 or 2 negative reviews. Even though most of them happen to be positive, and I'm going to go with most of them,
Yeah.
but it's always interesting to see. But thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, listen, we're bumping up into like the 45-minute mark here. I always try to keep this around, 30 to 50 minutes. But Jennifer or Alex, I'll give you guys or Lee, the last at bat. Do any of you three want to take the last at bat before we kind of disband for today? And obviously we'll do it again in 2 weeks, and I'll send out the information on that as soon as we're done here. But anything you want to comment or ask from anybody else before we disband today?
Oh, go ahead, Alex.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, I'd like to connect with the Florida people because that's where my market is, and maybe there's something that I could do for you guys as well. And then Joe, where do you live?
I'm about 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh and White Oak area.
Okay, but you can service anybody, or
Yeah,
no?
really, I can service
I mean,
anybody anywhere. I can literally work anywhere in the world, just as long as I have internet access to my
okay.
computer and the course programs to follow. So yeah.
Do you do free consultations with people?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I might contact you as well, and maybe we could do something.
Cool. Be glad to help.
Okay. Anything? Actually, I'll for anybody. Any last question or comments before we kind of disband here for today's session?
Real quick, Susie, are you looking to connect with other like magicians at all for any like career guidance or anything? Or are you kind of pretty much set in what you're doing?
I do have a lot of magicians in Los Angeles area that I'm still friends with, and usually my contacts are like the top corporate magicians that I'm friends with from Los Angeles based. So if I do have an advice that I need to seek, I definitely reach out to magicians either in Orlando or California, the ones that are already like top corporate magicians that I know that they do this as a living and not as a side business. And then sometimes my ex-husband is also a professional magician, or he was also a hypnotist and mentalist. So we used to do a Princess Cruise Line entertainment as well, and we were headliners. And before I had kids, I traveled all over the world doing magic shows. So I'm in a good place. If I need any advice, I can start with my ex-husband. If he cannot offer it, which is never has happened, I go with other magicians. But mostly I have go round and round, and I ask my ex-husband in return in regards to advice. He just nails it every single time. The advice that I need to receive. And then, yeah, pretty much it. So I have a good network of magicians that I get to be supported when I need to reach out as in terms of help, that are corporate magicians and also international magicians, including IBM, which is international, like they are lecturers at the International Brotherhood of Magicians.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks, Sal.
Now, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
How would we know when talking to somebody that they would be a good prospect for you?
Are you asking me?
No, I was asking Sal. I'm sorry.
Oh.
He wants to know about sound.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. Because to be honest with you, I always forget to introduce myself and do everything I ask everybody to do. So thank you for bringing that up. So as you know, I'm a business broker. I help people buy and sell businesses. And let me just say, a good referral for me is obviously somebody that wants to sell their business. And that usually happens when they want to retire. That is the single biggest reason, based on all the polls, all the data, all the statistics. When people are getting set to retire, they want to sell their business. So somebody that's a business owner, 60 to 80 years old, that has a business that has anything from 10 to 250 employees, 0 to 10 or 20 million dollars in revenue. And hopefully, I know this is hard now with the coronavirus. Trust me, I get a lot of phone calls from business owners that are unfortunately struggling right now. But hopefully, break even, positive cash flow from 0 to about $1 million or $2 million. And then the other thing that I'll say, because this is coming up a lot now also, is typically I would do a 2-hour radius around where I live, which would include Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania, Cleveland, Columbus, which is the hairy edge of the 2 hours, and then down into Morgantown in West Virginia. But now that everybody's used to the video chat, as long as they're willing to work with me over video chat and email and phone, you can pretty much do 90% of what we do in a live meeting over the video chat. So anyway, sorry for the little bit of a long answer to a short question, but I think that covers it.
Yeah, good, very good. Thank you.
Sal, are you finding it overwhelming, the amount of phone calls you're getting for people who want to sell their businesses now?
No, I'm not. It's not to the point where it's overwhelming. And to tell you the truth, unfortunately, it's a lot of people that are a little bit desperate and kicking tires and trying to find a way out. So for example, I'm getting a lot of calls from people that own restaurants, and they're saying, okay, I want to sell my restaurant. If you go back to maybe the middle of March to now, a lot of them are calling me when the restaurant is closed. And I still try to help them, but I think they realize that they're not going to get the price that they were looking for if the restaurant is closed or barely hanging on, maybe surviving with the PPP money. So I think a lot of them are saying, okay, I'm going to try to survive, try to open it up again, try to make it healthy again. And maybe I will go to sell it, because I think part of it, quite honestly, is people, business owners that are normally under a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, juggling all the balls, wearing all the hats. This coronavirus has really ramped up the stress to a completely different level. So I think what they're trying to do is again, turn their restaurant or their business to be healthy again, and then try to sell it just to relieve some of that stress from them personally. So long story short, it's not to the point where it's overwhelming, because a lot of times it's just a phone call, and then now there's going to be a waiting period. That makes sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Because again, a lot of the work happens when they actually sign up. I mean, a phone call is easy. It's just when they say, okay, Sal, let's go. Here's your listing agreement. Let's sign the business. Then there's a couple of weeks of intense work for me. But again, that I think is in a waiting period, people waiting to get their businesses healthy before they can sell them.
Makes sense.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments?
Stay safe, everybody.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. We'll do it again in 2 weeks. I'll send all the notices out, and thank you all for participating.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Al.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you,
Everybody.
guys.
Good day, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.